You glance at the digital clock on your microwave. It reads 11:11. Your immediate instinct might be to make a wish or assume you've just received a personalized cosmic wink from the universe. Jung's original concept bears little resemblance to modern pop mysticism. He intended the term to define a clinical framework for how the mind reveals meaning. He wasn't interested in magical parlor tricks. He was investigating how the unconscious mind projects its own internal logic onto the external world. To understand the weight of this theory, we have to start with physical reality. Think of a game of snooker. A cue hits the white ball hits a red ball, and the red ball moves. There is no deep existential meaning required to explain why that ball moved. It's pure physical causality. One action forces another. Now compare that rigid physical logic to the environment of a dream. If you dream of a massive snake, which then turns into a tattooed man, who then turns into an octopus, the strict laws of physics have no authority. One image doesn't physically cause the next to exist. Instead, events are linked by your mind's internal narrative. They are stitched together entirely by interpretation. This is the exact paradox Jung was trying to solve. He was trying to figure out why objective, real-world events occasionally follow the meaning-driven, non-causal logic of a dream. Jung was not a mystic. He was a scientist. To make sense of these overlaps between the internal and external world, he required a structural method to map them objectively. This diagram visualizes his approach. We start with the vertical axis, representing space and time. This grounds us in objective reality. It tracks the verifiable facts of where and when a physical event actually takes place. Then we cross it with a horizontal axis, which maps a spectrum of connection. On the far left, we have causality, which explains how something happens. On the right side, we have synchronicity, which explores what an event means to the observer. An event elevates to a true synchronicity only when it plots itself right here. It breaks away from physical cause and moves into the territory of psychological significance. For a coincidence to hit this mark, it must physically happen in real space and time, but its connection to your life is governed entirely by non-rational meaning. Look at Jung's most documented case study. He was sitting in his office with a stubbornly logical patient who was struggling to make progress in therapy. She was describing a dream she'd had the night before, featuring a piece of jewelry shaped like a golden scarab beetle. Right as she described the jewelry, Jung heard a distinct tapping at the window pane. He opened it and caught a flying insect right out of the air as it tried to get into the room. The patient talking about a beetle in a therapy session did not exert a magnetic, physical force to drag an insect to that specific window. There was zero physical cause and effect at play. Yet what Jung caught was a rose chafer beetle, a local insect known for its metallic green-gold shell. Its appearance in that specific geographic location at that precise time was biologically unlikely. Jung termed this an acausal connecting principle. The patient's dream and the living insect were linked purely by their shared meaning, completely bypassing the laws of physics. The improbability of this coincidence shattered the patient's rigid worldview. Her inner psychic state and the outer physical reality perfectly, inexplicably aligned. This leaves us with a question. If physical forces aren't linking these events together, what invisible structure actually bridges your inner mind with the outer world? Jung pointed to the archetypes, the innate structural patterns that dictate human behavior across every culture and era. These patterns aren't unique to you. They act as a tether, connecting your individual ego directly into the shared network of the collective unconscious. Jung theorized that archetypes are unique because they are both psychic and biological. They act as a bridge spanning the gap between raw physical reality and our deepest mental states. When that patient hears her dream beetle tap on the window, the wall between her private thoughts and the physical world collapses. The synchronicity is a conscious realization that a structural pattern of the psyche has just manifested in the room with her. But there is a grand architect overseeing this entire structure, and Jung called it the self. This represents the totality of your psyche, containing both your aware, conscious ego and the hidden depths of your unlived shadow. The ultimate goal is a process Jung called individuation. It is the lifelong task of unifying these fractured halves into a single, cohesive totality. The self utilizes synchronicities to grab your attention. It creates these alignments to point out your dormant potential, demanding that you integrate the parts of your personality that you've been pushing out of sight. You have to be careful not to fall into the trap of grandiosity here. A synchronicity does not mean you are magical, and it certainly doesn't mean the universe is revolving around your ego. The meaning found in these moments is never fabricated by your brain, nor is it a random accident of physical cause and effect. The meaning is trying to reveal itself to you. The only question is whether or not you dare to actually listen.